Today I'm going to be teaching you about storyboards and why they are so important in the film industry, not only for movies and TV, but also for music videos, corporates, short films, documentaries, and even other YouTube videos. So before we get into it, I know a lot of you are skeptical. Why do we need to storyboard? Can't I just show up with the shots in my head or just use a shot list? Even Werner Herzog, a well-known director, said this.
I do not use a storyboard. I think it's an instrument of the cowards.
Now I get his point. This experimental approach can work well. But even if I was shooting an experimental film, I would still storyboard some of my scenes because storyboards are a template. You don't have to use them, but you can always go back and look at them.
A storyboard is the first look at the film, and where you can actually go down the board and see the film. By definition, it's what is about to go onto celluloid.
Walt Disney was the first to develop storyboards in the 1920s. He used it to create his classic cartoon, Steamboat Willie. Since then, storyboards are used for almost all animation films, at least for Disney and Pixar, and a lot of live-action directors use them to anticipate how they will shoot a scene.
If I can make things work on paper, then I can make them work on the set. And if I can create a visual style on paper, I can absolutely create it on God's green earth.
Storyboards are especially useful for videos with multiple visual effects or for films with stunts and practical effects.
If there were difficult passages, take a film like The Birds, in which we had to get these little flying creatures into almost every shot, we needed a storyboard of practically the whole film. And also in a very complex film like Saboteur. Saboteur needed a lot of drawing so that everybody knew what our problems were.
How you create a storyboard is simple. First, you read the script, and from there, you or a storyboard artist draw out the scene. Now what I typically do is draw out my storyboards very simple, even with stick figures, and then give them to someone who can actually draw, so they can create the real ones that I use on set. That way, your storyboard artist has something to work from. Now you don't necessarily need this, but good storyboards should be numbered. Have the scene heading on the first shot, the size or even lens intended in one of the corners, CU for close-up, MS for medium shot, LS for long shot, and so on. The bottom right corner could show how long the shot is. This can be in 12 frames or 12 seconds. Commercials are usually 1 to 2 seconds per shot, but typically it's around 3 to 5 seconds, maybe faster with how people are editing these days. I also like to put the camera movement if there is any. Lastly, I like to write what's happening and or the dialogue under the shot, just to explain the shot a bit further. Now remember, storyboards show a whole scene with multiple different angles and lens sizes, not just one picture per scene. You can have dozens or even hundreds of panels depending on how long and complicated your scenes are. And they don't have to be conventional. Take a look at these storyboards, which show zooms, tracking shots, and tilts to make them unique. But let's say you can't draw, or you can't afford someone who can. Another way to create a storyboard is to take real pictures of your scene. Get your actors. If you can't get them, use your friends, family, stuffed animals, I don't care. But take pictures of the scene and the locations you are going to film. If you can't get those locations, use the second best thing. What you will get is a storyboard of the scene, which I think is even better than the actual storyboard because you have the actors in the real locations that you're going to shoot. You can print these pictures and put them in a photo album or use Polaroids and pin them on a Bristol board. I did this for a short film I directed last summer, and not only was this valuable for myself, but also for my DP, actors, editor, and anyone else who needed the scene explained.
My attachment to storyboards is I act and direct, and I like to kind of be able to take the pressure off myself by anticipating how I'm going to shoot something, and then I can sense new opportunities on the set that could not have been necessarily anticipated in a room where I was drawing with an artist.
The whole point of a storyboard is to show up on set and easily communicate your shots to the DP and other key members. A shot list is important, but everyone will interpret a shot list differently. A storyboard is the same to everyone. Now let's take this one step further. I like to bring in my DP, actors, sound guy, and any other important members to a pre-rehearsal, if you want to call it that. I will shoot a rehearsal of the scene weeks or months in advance of principal photography. This is to get a feel and pace of the scene and the location with the actors. If you can, shoot this on the same camera you are going to use for your actual shoot. If you can't, use something similar, because you will get a rough look of your scene through a lens, which is very different from in your head or even storyboards. This is invaluable to you and your crew, because you get to practice the scene before the actual shoot, where time is money. Every hour can be thousands of dollars, and you don't have time to explain every detail. But if you shoot a pre-rehearsal, or even storyboard it, everyone can get on the same page.
I find them my greatest tool, actually, the storyboard, because I can really get 8 people behind me and I can point, and everybody can suddenly be on the same page.
Now remember, you don't have to stick to your storyboards. Some of the best lines and shots in movies were created on the spot, but at least you will have something visual to reference from, not just a bunch of words from a shot list. I'm not saying that isn't important, but we work in a visual medium, so use something visual, because a picture is 1,000 words. Oh, and for those people who don't think storyboards are important, Orson Welles, the Wachowski brothers, the Coen brothers, Steven Spielberg, Ridley Scott, Alfred Hitchcock, Martin Scorsese, and many more all use them before they walk on a set. If you want my storyboard templates that I use on set, just click the link below, throw in your email, and I will send you my templates for free. Thanks guys, talk to you soon.
Are you not entertained? Is this not why you are here?